In the last episode of the Positano Diaries, I said goodbye to my family and set off on a solo road trip across Europe. I stopped at a magical location with a famous name before spending the night with my old school friend Celine. As I drove towards France, Sky had an important exam to confront and Carlo had a beach day in Sorrento. Join me in this episode as we spend a day at Chateau de Rosieres with Amy and Marc from the YouTube channel The Great Chateau Restoration Project. We are Nicki and Carlo, and our family live in Positano, Italy, nearly 500 steps from the road, but surrounded by fruit and olive trees and with a fabulous view. Our garden overlooks the sea and we grow our own food. We show you what life is really like on the Amalfi Coast. So please subscribe and welcome to the Positano Diaries. And as if by magic, I am in my next destination. It might look quite familiar, and it's very thundery too. I'm at the Chateau de Rosieres with Amy and Marc again. We came here last time that we came to England and we stopped off to visit them, and I promised that I would come back in August, so here I am and it is looking lovely. Let me show you around. So here the hydrangeas are still blooming. They're just finishing actually, some of them, but some of them are looking pretty good. The antique one, which is the same as the one we've got by our pool, is in full bloom, where our one is all finished now. Now, if you watched one of the latest videos, Marc went and bought a whole load of palm trees and they all got dumped here, but he seems to have moved them all, so I've been wandering around trying to find them. There's 3 of the taller ones over there above the sunken garden, and some of the small ones are here at the front of the chateau. So all these little ones he picked up as extras, I think, and they're all here. And I'm sure there's some more somewhere, but I haven't found them yet. I'm having to keep this one on the lead because all of the animals at the chateau are out and about round the back, and she is absolutely thrilled by them, and she already nearly got a chicken. We weren't paying attention. We'd taken her off the lead. We went for a walk in the woodlands, and as we got back to the chateau, Andy saw one of the chickens and just took off and chased it. And yeah, I'm gonna have to keep her on the lead the whole time. No. In hindsight, this was probably not the most sensible place to bring a 7-month-old puppy, because it's full of animals that she wants to chase and it's exhausting. Oh dear. I need to wear her out anyway. She's been in the car for 5 hours. You're everywhere, Holly, Indy, whatever your name is. Hello, Peppa. Hello. Right, it's getting a bit stormy. I think we'd better go in. If you followed us in December when we came and stayed a couple of days here, we had a joke in the video that we pretended we'd come here for a job interview, and Amy and Marc set us 3 tasks to complete to see if we were capable of working in the chateau. It was all a big joke and it was great fun. Unfortunately, a lot of people misunderstood and thought we were really coming here for a job interview. But I must say, every time I come here, they really do put me to work. Look what they've just had me doing. And this is a classic chateau dinner al fresco. I'm sure there's a way to say that in French.
What is it in French? En frais. En frais.
Yum.
That was a white tablecloth, wasn't it, Clement?
Yeah.
So I've just woken up in my night in the chateau. What are you doing on the bed? How did you get up here? She was under the bed when I left her this morning. She just wanted some company. So this is the room that I slept in. And everything was fine. There were no strange noises, no creaking, no rattling of chains. Everything was fine. I slept really well. The bed was comfortable. And today it's time to move on. Early morning walkies down the driveway with Indy and Pepper. In the rather random outfit of t-shirt, nightie and flip-flops. But who cares? I'm in the middle of nowhere. I love that Pepper is such an easygoing old thing. She just comes for a walk with anybody who goes out and just plods along. See what Indy's looking at. There's a field of donkeys and horses. Inigua, come here, good girl. Come on, good girl. You're so good. Have you found the chateau swimming pool? Have you? Don't go in there. No, no, no. We don't want a green doggy. We are going for a ride around the property. And Clement, hello. The last time we wanted to have a tour around the estate, we just didn't have time to do it. So we're going to go and do it now. Unfortunately, Carla's not here to join us, and we've left Indy inside the chateau. It's a lot more overgrown than when we sort of had a go in December.
This is a little house we bought after the chateau. There used to be some vineyards everywhere in these fields, and we are going to plant them again. And hopefully we'll renovate this little house and turn it into a tiny accommodation in the vineyard.
Come on, you and me, we can walk around and go in the top door. Yeah, the ranger. The ranger. Here, Daddy.
I could pipe some water from, we have a little pond at the top.
Ah.
We could have an outdoor shower.
Wow, yeah.
And I think it could look really cute. And then we'll do I'll show you some gold platforms.
There's various beekeepers on the land that keep all their hives here. And that's where we had that lovely Chateau honey from in December that finished not long ago. Amy has taught me a new trick, which I didn't know about. So if you've got little chickens, which, what are they called in English? Chicks. If you've got little chicks and they're noisy and upset, you can keep them quiet by stuffing them in your bra.
It's a nice warm
They
area.
love it in there, look.
This one doesn't have a mum, and it's very noisy otherwise. So yeah, that's my solution.
Just put it in there and they go quiet. They wiggle around for a bit, but then they get comfy. And yeah, I just must remember to take this out before I leave this afternoon.
So our dining room is one of our showpiece rooms in the chateau, and I think it reflects pretty well what we've been doing here and what we're trying to do. We've done some renovations, and anyone who saw us on the British TV show will have seen this fireplace here, which we didn't know was there. When we arrived, there was a fire, but it was a modern insert, and it only came to about here, and it didn't go all the way up to the top.
Wow.
And when we were being filmed for the TV, and we just wanted to take out the old inserts and things. So when we did, we broke back, and we knew there was something else behind, and we got a bit further back, and then we said, do you know what, I think this is an actual, another layer, and it had this weird concrete layer that had sprayed on stone effect.
Yeah.
We got the sledgehammer, well not the sledgehammer, the jackhammer, and went through it, and we found this wall behind. And it was amazing. It's the original medieval fireplace of the chateau. And what's even more impressive is that we found these holes in the wall here with well actually they'd been moved. But no, this is a potence in French. I think it's a chimney crane in English. But we didn't have that. But the previous owners to us told us that actually they had taken it with them as a garden ornament. And amazingly, they let us have it back, and we put it in place. And so it's possible that this is the same chimney crane, because it was built for the size as was in the Middle Ages. And what they would do in spaces like this is, in the winter when it was really cold, put a curtain across here, and this would be like a room around the fire. And so sometimes in winter, Mark and I will sit either side of the fire on our chairs, and it's really nice. And this is just, at the moment, I mean, we have to save up for things. This is, it's a lovely Norwegian wood stove, but it's quite an old one. It's not very efficient, and we got it at the garbage dump. So what we really love to do is something bigger in there. But for the moment, the other really interesting thing, if you can see past the cat food, is this here is the bedrock of the house. So it's not even the walls. And what happened was, this room originally was higher up, and so we know that this is a really old part, because when in the 19th century they redid this area, and they decided they wanted grand ceilings instead of a defensive medieval fortress. So they lowered the floor, they dug down into the bedrock. And so when we discovered this fireplace, it then meant that the fireplace ended about that far from the floor. So we had to have somebody carve another stone to make sure, we've got a local stonemason, to make sure that it doesn't look like it's just floating in the middle of the air. And the same problem was, this is an old bread oven, and you think, well, why would you have a bread oven up high? But it wouldn't have been up high. Yeah. And also, you can start to see, this is what's so fascinating in this restoration, is that every century had different changes. So this has been cut off at some point by this wall. So we now know that this wall was a later addition. And so this is what's amazing. This winter, we're moving into the coach house so that we can start to deconstruct the chateau. Not completely, but, you know, go behind the renovations of the 20th century, which weren't particularly lovely, and start to pick apart and hopefully find some more amazing stuff like this.
Wow, yeah.
And so I do some of my work in here. We have our guests in here. You can see the debris from the silver from the last dinner. And then Indy's walking across my prized art project. I like to think she's shown her appreciation. This I've been doing for 3 years. I'm doing a mural for the tile, the back of the shower in the bathroom of our biggest, grandest room. So I glaze and fire my own tiles, and this is my rough design, very rough design. I'm not an artist, but I wanted a kind of Art Nouveau stylized type thing. It's got the irises from the garden and the horse chestnut trees and the peacock, and so it's because it's my solution to us having a tiny bathroom that it's on the grandest bedroom, and I thought how to make it special would be to do something beautiful and bright inside it.
Yeah.
But as you may hear from my small boy over there and my active little girl, having the time to sit down and paint these tiles is evading me.
So this is a buffet I bought from an auction in Normandy. So Normandy is the opposite side of France. So I had placed a very low bid, thinking I'll never have it, because I would be partly because I thought I would be a bit annoyed if I got it because I wouldn't know how to get it back. But I got it. And I think it's a really amazing piece because it's first because it's really old. It's probably late 16th, early 17th century, and it's quite an uncommon piece of furniture. It's probably originally from Switzerland, and it was meant for the use it's having here. So basically, it's the piece of furniture you'd have in the dining room, so that when you enter, you wash your hands, and then you help yourself with dishes that are on display on the furniture. The incredible thing is that it's all marquetry. There's no paint at all. And every single piece of wood you see here is cut right to the shape. And the shading in the color is made by dipping the wood into hot sand. So it burns it. Wow. And makes a gradation in color. So there's it's when you look at it from close up, it's a really impressive impressive amount of work. There are other really interesting things like in the marquetry, like these bits that are slightly blue or here, and the blue was obtained by getting dead wood that was attacked by a fungus that gives it really unusual color. At the time it was extremely rare because you don't want it to be completely decomposed, otherwise you can't do it, you can't use the wood, but you want it to have the color.
And you restored a lot of it, didn't you?
Yeah, so it arrived
in a box of bits.
With boxes of bits, so I haven't finished. There are still bits falling apart slightly. Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Va voir maman. The other thing I really loved were the locks and the
You're very, very noisy!
They're working.
It's not working. Yeah, the incredible thing is that it also has its original locks with the same old key opening all of them. and all the locks that weren't meant to be displayed still have quite fine engravings, so it needs a good cleanup as well. So this one is actually a fake lock, so you don't need a key to open it. You just press the bit down. And it's actually just a latch. And this was because this bit of the cupboard would have been used for putting a jug to get the wastewater from the sink.
Of course,
so you didn't need a key to open that, you just wanted to be able to take it out.
So the nice thing about this is that it was a piece that we looked at and reflected on together for a long time before making the serious decision to buy something so large and imposing, and that would change the whole sort of feeling of the room and would involve quite a lot of logistics to get it back, didn't we?
Yeah. It
wasn't that you just went on the internet secretly and placed a bid without telling me and bought it.
No, that's not at all that. I showed you, you said, wow, that's beautiful, let's get it.
No!
And I remember it very clearly. And
he has some hearing impediments that seem to add the word let's get it to pretty much everything. So the first thing I know is he's headed off in the van to a motorway service station to pick it up off a bloke who's driving past with it.
Yeah, basically I managed to arrange a really good deal with the transporter. He said, yeah, if you don't mind waiting for a couple of months, I'll wait till I have enough furniture to fill up my van, and tell you when I drive your direction. So it was perfectly fine for us. And so I met him on the motorway, and we transferred it into our little van.
It is stunning, and I love the history of it. And we're never, I mean, our whole restoration project is more about buying intrinsically beautiful things and restoring them rather than upcycling or changing things. And we tend to go for older things.
So Amy mentioned the TV show earlier. So if you're not in the UK, you might not have seen it. Is it on
It is being shown, but several years of delay.
Okay.
Sometimes on quite obscure
And
channels.
what's it called?
Apparently. It started off life as Escape to the Chateau DIY, and then it became just Chateau DIY because it was associated with Dick and Angel's Escape to the Chateau to begin with. But
Okay.
we've been on 3 series of it, I think. And we did the fireplace and sewage ponds and this and a few things like that.
So that's why when we were here at Christmas, we didn't show this fireplace at all because it was going to be on the...
It was actually this bit and the chandelier in here and the whole, the renovation.
So we couldn't show this room, but now it's been shown on TV. We're allowed to show it on YouTube.
And I think it's shown in Australia and the US and Canada. One of them it's shown on and South Africa. It's shown on a channel called Peacock, I think in North America.
Okay. So yeah, you can go and hunt it down there. I'm just driving out of the Chateau driveway. I've just said goodbye to Amy and Mark, and I've sort of changed my plans a bit. Oops. Let's put you there. I've changed my plans a bit, so I was hoping that I could get... It's a bit of a bumpy driveway, let's try this. I was hoping I could get a ferry from Cayenne to Portsmouth, and unfortunately I've left it too late to book one, which is ridiculous of me. I should have booked that ages ago, but I just wasn't sure what day to book it for. So I can't go that way, which means where I was going to stop off is not possible anymore because it's just too far out of the way. So now I've changed my plans, and I suddenly remembered that my lovely friend Erica has a house exactly halfway between the chateau here and Calais in a place called Bar-le-Duc. So I sent her a quick message last night, not thinking that she'd actually be there, but it's August and the whole family's there and they've invited me to come and stay. So I'm heading towards Erica's house now, and it's a 5.5 hour drive, so it's a pretty long one today. So I'm just going to concentrate on driving. I'll stop at a couple of airs along the way so that Indy can have a little trot around and a wee, and I will get to Erica's later on this afternoon. So now it is time to concentrate on this bumpy road, which looks a bit like this.